You know the feeling. Your body is physically exhausted, heavy against the mattress. Simultaneously, your mind is intensely, relentlessly wired. This mental noise is a stream of unfinished business. You lie there replaying a half-formed decision, parsing an ambiguous conversation from the afternoon, or anticipating a complex work problem. Capable, ambitious people often assume this is a personal failing. We blame high stress, label it a personality quirk, or chalk it up to a lack of mental discipline. Because we frame the experience as a malfunction, our immediate instinct is to command the brain to shut down. Mislabeling this experience as a broken mechanism ensures we will use the wrong tools to fix it. Pushing thoughts away triggers a well-documented rebound effect. The harder you forcefully try to suppress a specific worry, the more aggressive and salient that thought becomes. This diagram illustrates the friction loop we get trapped in. A suppression attempt feeds directly into increased thought salience, creating a continuous cycle of escalating wakefulness. Relying on sheer effort to stop thinking actually generates the friction that keeps you awake. Curious, slightly slower. There is a different way to look at this. The brain might be doing exactly what it evolved to do. When willpower fails to quiet the mind, it is evidence that we are fighting a core biological drive rather than a lack of effort. Cognitive science has a precise description for this. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Looking at this diagram, we see the brain's built-in bias. Completed tasks dissolve from our immediate attention, but incomplete goals, or unresolved tasks, remain solid and active in working memory. As the incomplete task expands, notice the connecting lines reaching out. The brain is executing pattern completion. It identifies a loop left open during the day and attempts to close it. An unresolved commitment represents a potential risk. Forgetting it means failing to act on something you've already prioritized. The brain keeps the loop active to ensure that information isn't lost, a mechanism of protection that persists even when you're trying to sleep. These racing thoughts are the sound of essential administrative maintenance. It is pattern completion, performed at a poorly timed moment. During the day, as you see in this fast-moving blur, constant external demands, context switching, and loud stimuli easily mask those background threads. When the lights go out and external stimuli drop to zero, those unresolved tasks become the loudest signals in the room. This explains why standard distractions fail. Scrolling on your phone to relax feeds the brain fragmented information, creating additional open loops. It is also why we turn to chemical crutches, like late caffeine to push through or alcohol to force a shutdown. The evidence on how these affect sleep architecture outcomes is mixed and highly individual. Regardless of the substance used, the underlying cognitive loop remains. External numbing and distraction fail because they attempt to drown out a process that requires closure, not volume control. You cannot logic your way out of the Zeigarnik effect, and you cannot command your brain to forget. Rather than fighting the brain, you must signal to it that the ambiguous information is safe and captured. This diagram shows a technique called cognitive offloading. Data points transfer from the internal working memory into an external repository. The goal is to move these items out of active memory rather than solving them. This practice involves two steps: identifying the single next action for your top 1 or 2 worries, and pairing that with a consistent, low-stimulation wind-down, like dimming the lights, to signal physical safety. View this as behavioral hygiene, a practical method for letting the brain release its grip on the thread. So here is how you actually start. If you take one thing from this, 10 minutes before bed, write a shutdown list. Every open loop on your mind. Messy bullets, not to solve, just to park. Close the notebook, see if your mind quiets down faster than when you argue with it.